What's up, guys? This is Carlos Gray with the Men's Power Connect, and welcome back to this exciting edition of the Men's Power Connect. I have my iron sharpening iron brothers with me, Mr. Osei
Oh, you went
Harvey.
in order this time. All right, very good. You caught me
Yeah, I
last
got
time.
you.
I was like, let me stay on my P's and Q's. What's going on? I'm back in here. I ain't go. What did you say?
I ain't going
I ain't
nowhere.
going nowhere.
I love it,
Good to see
man.
y'all again.
It's good to have you here, man.
Yeah, man. Always.
And then our other iron sharpening iron brother, Mr. Myron Head.
What's up, people? Hey, I hope y'all check this out. We went live at Amika Lola. That's how you say it.
Amika Lola.
Thank you. Amika Lola. We got educated brothers in the building.
Yeah,
I know. We just trying to cover. You know, it's all
Amika
good. We
Lola
got your back.
had a fantastic time. If
Yeah.
you've never been and you're in the Georgia area, check it out. It's a fantastic park.
That's awesome. We are here. If you recall a couple of the episodes that we've done, we talked about fathering well and the 5 stages of fathering well. We're going to go a little deeper on one of these stages here to give you some information and insight on that. So I'm going to turn it over to my brother, Osei Harvey, to kind of give us more context.
Yeah. So of course we've covered. We talked about the 5 stages that come with fathering well, and we're going to start with the beginning and give you a little bit more context, as Carlos has said, in regards to what comes with the covering stage. So covering stage starts at birth. I'm sorry, actually starts before birth.
That's
right. This is the process where we figure out, hey, we're getting ready to have a child. Conception happens.
Yes.
And then at that, we're excited. And then at that point, we begin to go through the processes of covering our child with our wife. Right. So it happens prior to birth, and then it moves into the toddler age. Right. And so this opportunity really is for the fathers to come in and to be able to engage with their unborn child, as well as their spouse in that process of the baby growth. Right. You're going to see the belly start to kind of develop and really start to get big a little bit. And then what are we doing in that time that we see that development? So we're going to talk about specifically what that looks like. Now, a lot of this information that we're going to share with you has actually come from a very, very well-known psychologist by the name of Erik Erikson.
Yes.
And he breaks down a lot of the stages that we're going to talk about. So we pulled a lot of our references from him. And so we'll kind of also get a little bit more specific in terms of how he looked at that covering stage from prior to birth, and then also into the toddler stage. Yeah,
That's good. Yeah. And so we'll also be talking as well about, as also I mentioned, that stage of when you find out you're going to be a dad, right? And if you haven't caught that episode, if you go to our YouTube page, you can find our Day One Dads episode where you can hear about some stories that we told, some personal stories about how we experienced that moment when we first found out we were going to be a dad, just the emotion of it. And in some cases, a little bit of that trepidation, right? Of not knowing, am I ready? Am I prepared? What does that look like? So we got some really good nuggets. So you definitely want to go to our YouTube page and check that out. And so one of the things we also will talk about in this stage that's really critical is really being present, like you mentioned, for your spouse, right? Or for the mom, just to make sure that you're supporting her through the pregnancy. Because that's critical in that if you're the better emotionally she feels going through, as you talked about, the stomach getting bigger, especially if she's never, she's been slim all her life and now she's dealing with, her body changing and what that looks like. So being able to support her through that is very, very critical. And also making sure that every opportunity you have to attend one of those pregnancy appointments, to go and attend there. I talked about it before on a prior episode. When my wife went for one of the appointments that I accompanied her with, it was they were doing an ultrasound on the baby. And while they were doing the ultrasound, we saw my son clap in the womb. And that was just an incredible experience. I was so glad to be able to be there with her and share that moment. And just other moments like that of them going for their appointments. It's just always great to be there because God willing, we wouldn't want to see this happen, but there may be an appointment where maybe there's some news of hey, she needs to take it easy. She needs to rest more. She needs to be off her feet. Just different things like that you absolutely want to be aware of so you can help support her through that.
Yeah.
And I would say, go ahead. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say really quickly, just to piggyback on what you were saying. So in this stage, when you talk about it being critical, we want to make sure that as husbands, that we want to release as much pressure from the wife as we possibly can.
Yes.
We want her to remain stress-free because we know if she's stressed, that's also going to affect the child.
Absolutely.
So we have to keep it into consideration of that as well. Yeah.
I agree. And sticking with showing up as a husband in this space, I think for me is that understanding that Catherine was going through a lot of hormonal changes. And so sometimes things that she's thinking about or how she's responding or reacting to certain things was probably not the Catherine before she got pregnant. And now there is a evolving Catherine that's actually happening at this point. Word. And how do we really make sure that we're showing up appropriately for her 24/7? Right. Because even at night, if she's having cravings or if she could have some other issues going on with trying to get comfortable in the bed, how can we make sure that we are supplying all of the resources or things that she would need in order for her to be comfortable? Because just like you said, the more stress-free she is, the better it is going to be for our children.
I just got 2 words for brothers out there. If your wife is anywhere between 5 to 8 months pregnant, body pillow.
Yes, I agree. I concur.
Yes, 100%.
Right.
100%.
Right.
That will be a winner for you.
Yeah, man.
When she's in that stage, because like Carlos mentioned, she's going to be very uncomfortable in that later stage of the pregnancy. So anything you can do to relieve that is a benefit. And I remember with my wife, and it's funny, we were talking about this with the kids the other day. When she was pregnant, she had this craving for, it was fried chicken and ices from Target. So
not from Walmart.
Not from Walmart.
Not from 7-Eleven.
Not from 7-Eleven. But from Target. Shout out to Target.
Yes.
But she would literally, hey, you on your way home? Yeah, baby. What way did you take? You need me to go to Target, don't you? Yeah, you get one. I got you, baby. So those cravings, that's a part of it. But like you said, that's a part of supporting your spouse or, the mother of the child through that pregnancy. And again, the better she feels going through the pregnancy, the better it is for the child.
So I would say to our day one dads, make sure that you are, number one, communicative, that you and your wife have that conversation as far as what she needs for her to be comfortable for her and the child.
I love that.
Yeah. And then number 2, be observant. Because she's going to show you some telltale signs of discomfort.
Yes.
You got to pay attention to that. And then, okay, what can I do to kind of counteract, some of those uncomfortable moments?
Can I add to that? You got to make sure your skin is thick too.
That's true.
When she's going through the pregnancy.
That's true. Be careful right up in there, brother.
Because like Carlos talked about, there's those hormonal changes. Again, especially for the first time a woman is having a child, she's going through something she's never experienced before. And so how she reacts and responds to that, some days it may be great. There's those kind of emotional swings that you may see during the pregnancy.
Yeah.
And you got to be ready for it.
Yeah.
Right? So like you said, observing, and if she needs another pillow, if she's been sitting on that gray pillow all week long, and then she asks you to bring a pillow, please don't bring the white pillow. You might get the white pillow thrown at you. You might get, you might get some words about the white pillow. Yeah. It's the gray pillow. So just being observant is critical.
Yeah. Was there some other things that you kind of share about
I
the
did.
coverage?
I would just, in order to add that, one is that it would be wonderful if you just surprised your wife sometimes.
Yeah.
With things that she absolutely loves. Just little small things.
Yes.
Because just those little touches make a major difference because she knows that you are observant.
You're paying attention.
You're paying attention.
Yeah, man.
And then I would actually say the next thing to look at is making sure that you are aware of just your household environment and what's going on. That's in the way of cleaning the house, the dishes, the car, just because there's a lot of changes starting to happen at this point. And sometimes she may not feel like that she's at her best. She may not feel like she looks her best, even though she is glowing.
Yeah.
I always thought my wife was just amazing
Yes.
at, pregnancy.
right.
And she definitely gained weight, right? I mean, her craving was like Lay's potato chips. She would like fall asleep with Lay's potatoes, her hand in the Lay's potato chip bag.
Just crumbs. All
Crumbs
all
everywhere in the
back
bed. But I still love my wife. Okay, so back to what we would say is that I was just very cognizant of creating the environment in my home that I knew that she liked. Clean kitchen, clean house, or a clean car.
Yeah.
And just being cognizant of that made it much easier.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's really good.
Yeah.
In addition to that, there are a couple other things that we want to keep in mind in the covering stage, especially day one dads, right, as new fathers, or just fathers that are having another child. We want to make sure that we're covering our children in prayer.
Yes.
It's very important. It's very vital, especially as men of faith, that we want to clean out anything that we feel like could be potentially, harming spiritually with the child, whether it be music, whether it be just the environment, atmosphere, whatever the case may be. We want to make sure that we are covering our children in prayer and just making it a comfortable environment.
Did you have a regular rhythm of prayer for your children while they were?
I would say I did. Thinking back on, there were moments where my wife may be just waking up, or maybe she just laying down, just resting. At that point, I would come in and cover, and pray. It does a couple things. Again, for her, it gives her reassurance. Because sometimes in her mind, she's like, I don't know what to do, or I'm just tired, or whatever the case may be. As her husband, and as the covering of the family, she knows when I come up and I acknowledge that I'm praying over us, it says, I trust that he is making sure that our household, our environment is all good.
Yep.
Yes.
Right? I kind of look at it almost like an analogy of a gauge, right? So a needle.
Yeah.
So when you do things that that's going to help your wife to feel comfortable, guess what? That level of trust, that gauge, that needle begins to go up. My job in my mind was always to try to keep that needle at least 3/4 or up.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's hard work to
Great.
do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's very hard to work to do that. But if you're always conscientious about that, she's always going to be in a good place. Yeah, right. So I would say praying includes covering.
Is that what you did, Myron?
Yeah, I don't know if it was like a rhythm, but I know making sure that I was praying usually in the evening when, because I'm leaving early in the morning. She's probably still resting. So I'm getting home in the evening. We get ready to lay down when we're in the bed. Definitely praying over my child when they were in the womb. Speaking words over them, just knowing the value of that, and just making sure my son and my daughter were hearing my voice.
Right.
I think was very important. So, and then just being present, is also a big thing for those moments. We kind of talked about this earlier when you see that foot kind of push out of her stomach, or her hand go out, or the baby kick. Just being able to again share those moments with her, and then just being able to experience that as a father is an incredible moment to know there's a life inside of her and it's ready. It's like it's itching to get out, right? And I think that was really great.
Hey, NPC family, we hope you enjoyed this week's Part 1 episode of the first stage of Fathering Well, the covering stage. Stay tuned for Part 2, released next Monday. And don't forget to like and subscribe.